Welcome to a new video. Today I wanted to give you a quick overview about the training weapons we use for quarterstaff practice. So what their advantages and disadvantages are and for what purpose we use each of them. Historically, this quarterstaff was mostly made of ash or oak wood, both very sturdy types of wood that can create nice impact. This wood is still the best for training today, and the same is true for hickory. Ash and hickory are not too heavy but very robust. Just keep in mind that tool handles, like for axes and hammers, are made out of ash or hickory mostly. In the 19th century, lighter woods from overseas like bamboo or rattan were also in use. Oak is often heavier, and we like to use traditional bow staffs as they are used for Japanese martial arts or kobudo kata from Okinawa. They are 185 centimeters long and weigh around 1,200 grams plus minus. They are easily available in martial arts shops online and mostly of good quality but not too expensive. But be aware not to buy these so-called red oak cheap bow staffs because they are very poorly crafted and not robust enough. A good bow made of white oak from Japan or Taiwan costs around 30 to 50, maybe 60 euros and is a very good investment. Of course, there are also HEMA shops which sometimes sell good staffs made of ash or hickory. Another reason why we use bow staffs is that they are a bit shorter. Some manuals describe the length of a quarterstaff differently, sometimes between 6 and 7 feet, sometimes even longer. So with a bow staff we are not that bad in length and it works for the way we use it, so mostly after Zachary Wyatt's lessons. Another tool we are using are so-called soft bows. These are padded staffs with a flexible plastic core. The padding is a bit sticky, so these bows react surprisingly well in binding. They are of course very light and bend a lot, but they are safe and fun for different purposes. In thrusting they are quite safe and you can do sparring with them without any protection, except of course a fencing mask and lightly padded gloves. That is something for very hot days, but also to move a bit more free than with big gloves, protective jacket and other protection. So you can move around a little bit more free. Also, they can be used quite well for scenario drills against multiple opponents, just like we talked about in the previous lesson. So similar to our padded two-handed swords we're using for such drills. The next tool we use are rattan staffs. So like traditional staffs and sticks, rattan is used in eskrima, Filipino martial arts. Like the wooden bow and soft bow, you can get these easy in different martial arts shops. They are also light, they bend well in thrusting, and they are still safe enough to spar with them. But a padded jacket, knee protection, and so on is recommended. And especially big gloves because they can still hurt like hell. They have kind of a whipping effect due to their strong flexibility. And keep in mind that stick fighters, an example like the Dog Brothers, use also rattan sticks. And sometimes they break even bones with that or can create a knockout, even with a fencing mask on. A big problem with rattan staffs is that they are very slippery in the bind and they are very flexible when you create a lot of pressure. So many techniques to control the opponent's staffs do not work right. But they are good for fast, hard and exciting sparring. So finally we have lighter ash staffs as another tool. That means these staffs weigh only 700 to 800 grams, and so they are much lighter than our oak staffs. That said, they are still very dangerous and should only be used in light technical sparring with protective gear, and only experienced staff fencers should do that. But the benefits are worth the risk, because these staffs react in sparring as they should. They do not bend too much in the bind, so you can do all the controlling actions we talked about in our lesson series. And they do not slip on the surface so much, so control in the bind works excellent. So they are kind of the real deal. But keep in mind that sparring is also only a simulation, and you cannot do full contact sparring with a real quarterstaff. And if you do so, you would have to wear a knightly armor. So there you have it. Some thoughts and experiences on the staffs we are using in our training. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment section below or send me a message. So cheers, folks, and always train safely.